Hi, Claire here from Acton Memorial Library. I want to share another fairy tale with you. This is from a book called More New Fairy Tales. It was published over a century ago. And this story is called The Shepherd Boy's Dream. Peter, the shepherd, led a lonely life, far from towns and villages. He was a shy, dreamy boy, and he made no friends since the boys laughed at him for believing in fairies. His mother comforted him all she could, and she told him all the old tales of the countryside that she could remember. I shall see a fairy one day, thought Peter, and then I shall laugh at them. He felt sure he heard shrilly sweet laughter when he was far away on the downs, and always he heard sweet singing by the sea. One hot day, whilst his flock wandered on the cliff, cropping the tender grass, he sat down on the sand and fell fast asleep in the sunshine. He dreamt that a beautiful maiden sang to him, and as she went away, threw over him a tinsel robe. He sprang to his feet, and these words sang in his ears. Come and see the treasures hid beneath the gleaming sea. Fasten tight thy robe thou holdest, worn only by brave and boldest, by them only may be seen. Fair and sweet our fairy queen. Peter ran to the sea, whence the singing came. The waves divided, showing a narrow, sandy path, and he sped along it, gay voices calling him all the way. Presently he stopped short. In front of him, seated on a throne of mother of pearl, was the fair maiden of his dream. Come and sit by my side, Peter, she cried, and the pretty sea maidens led him forward. So many years have passed since a mortal believed in us. And then you came our way. You shall banquet right royally. Sing and dance your best, maidens. It was a long time before Peter overcame his shyness, but at last he found himself talking freely to the queen and telling her all about his dreams. She nodded and laughed, looking very pleased. I shall give you a royal gift, Peter, she said, as a reward for your loyalty to us. You shall always be able to see the fairies. So many can do that until they begin to grow up. Then they cannot see them because they do not care to look for them. Time sped away rapidly, and the shepherd boy was so delighted with everything he saw and heard, he did not heed how swiftly the hours slipped away. The queen grew quieter and graver, and presently she touched Peter on the shoulder. Would you like to stay with us always? She asked, for she liked the lad better and better every minute. Peter rose to his feet and gazed at her. Then suddenly flashed across his mind the memory of his mother, of the sun rising over the sea, of the song of the larks in the morning, of the distant bleat of the sheep scattered over the downs, and of the little cottage nestled there. You have chosen wisely, said the queen, with a little sigh of regret, for she could read his thoughts. The next moment, Peter found himself sitting in the sand, rubbing his eyes. The sun was still shining, the sea lapped the shore, and seagulls flew screaming and chuckling over his head. But everything seemed to have gained even greater beauty, and he felt sure he saw wee, green-clad figures playing about the rocks and pools, and heard sweet singing mingling with the song of the larks overhead. The queen's gift was his without a doubt. And that's the end of the story. I do have an illustration to share with you. This illustration is called, You Have Chosen Wisely, said the queen. All right. Thank you for joining me.